Welcome to this tutorial. Here we will use the hinge from edge technique to create the curved back of this chair, and also I'm going to be using an arc and a horizontal line to do this curve back here. We will go from a curved leg to a straight leg, and we're going to also work on the back of the chair, which is another curved, using another arc. So you can see the chair has a couple of compound curves, and we'll get started. So the first thing we should do is change your units to 1/32 of an inch in fractional inches. We will start by creating a tapered seat. From extended primitives, create a chamfered box. Make sure the dimensions are about 10.5 by 19.75 by 1 inch. We're going to change the fillet value to about 4 segments and 14/32 of an inch, and that looks pretty good. Now create a box of 1.5 by 1.5 inches. The height doesn't matter right now. We'll work on that later. This is a guide to see where the legs are going to be cut. So we need to cut the seat around the leg. So select the edges, connect a few segments, 7, 8 or so, and then slide the segments so that one of the lines is very close to the leg, like that. Select the other side and do the same thing, and you should have a square here. Now let's move this box out of the way for a moment and select these corners and delete them. Now we have created a hole in the back here, and we're going to close this by using bridge. Click on the edge, then select one of the edges and click on bridge, and go from one edge to the other across like this. Do the same thing here. We're going to do the other way, the other side, and bridge these two again. Now you still have holes to close, so we can use a modifier called cap holes while this is selected, of course. And that looks pretty good. Next thing we want to do is taper this seat so that it has the right shape. So we can collapse this first so it's one piece, and then we can change the shape by using the taper modifier. Down here you click on taper, and then you can change the values here, maybe on the X on the primary, and then move it so that you can see the taper, and when you're happy you just stop there. Collapse this again so that it's one piece again. Now we're going to raise the seat up to the height of 18 inches. So let me make let me first make a copy of this leg, and we're going to make this about 8 inches high. This way we can use this as reference, and we can now place the seat exactly about 18 inches high. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to proceed to work with the back of the chair. So this is just for reference right now. Now before we go on, we are going to create a plane. Ignore this arc you see here for now. I'll explain that later. On this plane I'm going to add a bitmap. It's a drawing I made from tracing from a photograph of a chair from IKEA. I have it here, and I apply this to the to the plane I made. Follow these instructions. This will help you see the image on our view here. Add a UVW map, make sure it's on planar, uncheck this here, and then change the views. As you change the views, we will be able to see the image here. Now you can size this plane so that it matches our seat, and the height of the chair. Once you get it done ready, we're going to proceed with drawing the arc we need. I will delete this one for now and I'll explain. You need to draw a horizontal line like this for now and leave it here for now. Alright, draw a horizontal line and leave it here for now. It's just a line. We'll use this later and I'll explain why. Now let's proceed, starting with the leg with an arc. Click in the middle of the bottom of the leg and go up to about where you think the chair begins to go straight, and I think it's about here. Click again, pull the mouse and create your arc. If you don't see the pie like you see here, click on this pie slice here. I'm going to change the color so we can see a little bit better. Now this horizontal line we're going to align with this, with the center of the arc. You can copy those values from one to the other one. We will also move a few things. Let's move the plane we made back here so it doesn't interfere with the drawing. And also we'll take the horizontal line and we're going to place it very close with the arc, so it's easier to see what we're doing here. Now we need to make a 1.5 by 1.5 by about 1/2 inch high or 1 inch high box. That's going to be the starting point, our leg, and we need to align this with the horizontal line and the arc. Where they intersect, that's where we need to place this. And you can't see it very well, so I'm going to change the color of this little box, and so you can see it. I'll make this a little taller so we can get started. Alright, and the next thing we want to do is make it a little larger, center it, and on the perspective view, we're going to change this into a editable poly. Select the top polygon and shift drag back. We're going to clone this as an element or two element, and we're going to align the edge of this polygon with the center of the arc. So that's going to be our hinge. Now select this polygon here, click on hinge from edge, and then click on pick hinge. We're going to pick the hinge, which is this edge here. Click on it, accept. But before you accept also, we have to change something. The angle is 30. We go 5 segments, 6 segments, as many segments as you need. Let me change the view. Here's the angle. We need to go about that high, because that's where we're going to be starting on the top with our straight line. And you see, you add as many segments so that they kind of align with the other pieces we're going to be working with. So say OK, and let's select the bottom of a polygon here. Same thing, go hinge from edge. Since it's the same hinge, we don't need to pick on the hinge anymore. We just need to add the segments we need and the angle. So add as many segments as you need, and so that you create these segments to match these other elements here. We're going to be extruding these supports from here. Alright, next thing we do is select the polygon on top of this leg, and we don't need to hinge from it. We're going to simply extrude. And instead of extruding all the way to the top, let me change the view. We're going to extrude in segments. We're going to go slowly, and we're going to stop every time we need to create a segment. All right, so this is the way to divide this and where we need it. So click on plus, add another segment, click on plus, add another segment, and so once we get to the top here, we're going to extrude just a little bit more here. We'll leave it here. All right. So here we are with all the segments we need. We're going to work on the segments for the supports now. Select these two, and then the one that's underneath here, where the support for the leg is. I'll just pick these two. I think I picked too high, but it's going to work. Connect, add two segments, spread them or pinch them so that they're the size you need. Say OK, and then select the vertices of these polygons we just made. And we're going to chamfer these also, maybe 1/16 of an inch. Okay, now here comes the interesting thing about this. We're going to create the front leg from all these faces. We select all these polygons here. Select all the polygons on this side, just below the seat. Then shift and pull on X, so you copy and clone to element. And now from here we just go and click on make planar on X, and there you have it. Next thing we can do here is we can extrude this. Let me move it over here, and we're going to extrude about 1.5 inches. What we're going to do is select all these elements, and we're going to detach this from the other leg. You can give it a name if you want. Detach this, say OK. So now it's a different element. You can see here. I'm going to change the pivots or those center lines, the pivot references this way. Send it to the object so it's easier. So now we're going to move this a little bit over here. And we will not need, add this cap holes here. So we close the openings. Mirror it so it flips the other way. All right. Now we can delete the old leg we made and use the new leg in place. Let me unhide the seat. All right. So now we have to remove this one. We don't need it anymore. And this one that has all the segments in place, we're going to put it back here. Delete this one. Let's attach these two first. Now that they're one piece, bridge these here and this support here. That's great. It's horizontal. It works fine. And now let's see. We'll work on the top, on the curve in the back, and we'll create an arc again from here to the other side. Again, we're going to find out what that curvature is. I think it's about here somewhere. And all we need now is, let's move this up here. Change the color so we can see it. And there's our arc on the top. But there's one thing, the arc is not perpendicular to the back. So we need to know how far the back is tilting. So I'm going to draw a rectangle here for reference. Alright, make a rectangle here. With this rectangle I can see, and I can turn this back or tilt back to find out what the angle of the chair is. You right click here and you can see that it's turned about 0.41. We'll copy and paste that over here. Now the arc is tilted the same way and it's perpendicular to the back. This is important because if you don't do it perpendicular, it doesn't work very well. Now we're going to borrow a face or a polygon from this leg again, maybe this one. Pull it back, clone to element, and then we're going to center this face with the center of the arc we created on top. If you want accuracy, you can click on snaps, and then you can move it so that it aligns with the edge of the center of the arc. Alright, that's going to be our hinge. So now we'll go inside the leg here, and I suppose before we do this we're going to create the polygons we need for the pieces in the back. Select these segments and click on connect. We'll make 2 segments and we're going to size it to where we need it. Also, we can select the vertices and we can chamfer them about 1/16 of an inch and say OK. We select those polygons, those profiles, I call them profiles, and working on hinge from edge, select pick hinge and select the edge of this hinge here, and there you have it. So you can just add or add more segments if you want it smoother. And on the top view here we can see if we made it through the center of the arc. So we need to add a few more segments or extend the angle about right there. And you can see each one of these ends are crooked or in an angle. We're going to fix that using this tool here and pulling down on Y several times until it's all flat. Now we can apply a symmetry modifier to see our progress. On symmetry you have to learn how to select certain things here. Click on mirror so you can drag these little handles and move it. On the Y-axis here you can flip this if it's the other way around, get a closer view and put it together. So it's looking very good. We'll correct this later. For now, let's see. I'll make a couple of corrections here. Oh yes, we can work on this area now. Remember the top we left that about unfinished. You can just chamfer the front edge of this leg here, but we're going to use another method since we're working on hinge from edge. Just create this segment here, then select the polygon, and we're going to click on hinge. We're going to hinge on its own side. This is pick hinge here first and then select the hinge. I think I clicked the wrong one. As you can see, this is not what I wanted. I want the hinge that is actually let me move this down so we can see it. I'm going to pick the hinge again. Try to get it this time. Pick hinge and select this one. I think that did it, and we can test this. That's perfect. So add as many segments as you need. This should be 90 degrees, so it's perpendicular to the top. And now we're going to complete the back of this. The two segments, not those two, these two. Connect one segment, accept, and let's extrude this face here just about the same distance of the piece that's at the bottom here, this one. And then when we're done, accept this, and we're going to bridge from the bottom of this to the top. Oh well, I lost that because I should have left that face selected, but that's fine. There we go. So that completes this, and there's a reason why it used this method. You'll see later how easy it is to use chamfer on the edges. Another thing we need to do is, well, let's look over here. You select this, click on this side maybe, select the edges, click here, click on loop, select these, and loop again, and you got it. You see how easy it is, and it selects everything you need. So now we can chamfer these edges, maybe 1/16 of an inch. That will do for now. We're good. Oh yeah, the leg here. Select these vertices down here, and using this tool again, pull it down several times until it's flat, and we're done. Now we can complete the chair by doing the front and back supports. Let me hide the seat for a second so when you see back here, it'll be easier to work. Select these two here and these two. Connect two segments again. Create your profile. Once the profile is done, you can select the vertices. Okay. Select the vertices and chamfer to create your profile again. Now we can select the polygons and extrude. Let's change our view so we can extrude from the right view, and it's easier to see how far we went. And now we can click back on symmetry, and everything seems to be working fine. Move and make a couple of corrections here. After this, you can color it, add materials, and that's it. So thanks for watching, and I hope you like this tutorial. Until next time, thank you.